I'm Courtney.
And I'm Emily. And this is
Cheers to that. So our clink sounds a little different today because
we are drinking sodas. And by sodas, I mean I'm drinking a mini Dr. Pepper and Courtney's drinking an Olipop,
which is my favorite. I don't like regular soda, but for some reason, Olipop just gets me. Root beer all the way. It's my little treat to myself, like usually in the afternoons after the kids have gone to bed. I just drink a little Olipop and I'm so happy.
This is so indicative of our personalities, though, that like I'm out here like full Dr. Pepper. Give me all
in the
morning. Corn syrup. Yeah. This is my second Dr. Pepper today, and I may go for a third. I don't have.
You're so crazy.
I'm not trying to hold myself back. I have inhibitions. I want to feel the rain on my skin.
I feel that,
and I want the rain to have 23 flavors of Dr. Pepper.
23 flavors of different corn syrups.
Yes, exactly. Well, this is your weekly podcast where we talk about, I forgot it for a second, for what we talk about here, motherhood, marriage.
Everything.
We laugh at everything in between. We're talking about topics that are topics and stuff.
That so about
Courtney,
sums us
there
up.
It is.
That sums up our podcast.
There it is. Courtney, I have to ask you my random question. I kind of gave you a heads up today because it's a random one.
You front-loaded me.
I did front-load you because this is a weird question, but something that came to me in the shower. What is something that you wish you could do more of, but it's like bad for the earth, so you can't do more of it?
Well, your original question, this is throwing me off a little bit because your original question was, what is something that's bad for the earth that you wish wasn't? So that was your original question. And it does change the context because
really does.
I asked Matt to help me think of something. So what's something that's bad for the earth that you wish wasn't? And his answer was gingers. Because his sister is a ginger and that's his running joke. Sorry, Carly.
Matt. Shut up.
I know. I said, babe, no, I need an actual answer.
God.
So my answer was something that's bad for the earth that I wish wasn't was fast fashion because your girl loves some Shein.
I knew that was going to be your answer. I could sense it. My first thought, and so you understood the assignment. I was worried about how I worded my question over text after you repeated it back to me, but no, that's exactly what I meant. So that's the thing I meant.
Perfect.
So something that like is bad for the planet and you have to feel guilty about it, but like you wish you didn't have to feel that guilt and it wasn't a big deal. Fast fashion, I knew you were going to choose that. Or my backup thing that I thought you would say is like traveling via airplane, like jet fuel type thing, because like you like to travel, but
I don't even worry about my
carbon
emissions.
Footprint.
Yeah, I don't, because people can go out and fly private jets and not worry about it. So I can do a flight
I can fly
once every
the
year.
lowest class. I can fly steerage commercial and pay $1 for my seat in the back of the plane. Where they don't give you water for free.
What's yours? Do you have something different, or is it fast fashion?
No. It's not fast fashion. It's much more stupid. Styrofoam cups.
Oh my God, no. That's so good. Because Sonic is single-handedly killing our environment.
And Chick-fil-A.
Oh, yeah.
But like,
shame on you guys. Shame on you.
But also don't stop. Because I think the problem is, and why I thought about this, zero clue. I just have like these really clearly impactful, meaningful.
You have epiphanies.
Deep epiphanies. And one of them today was how much I love styrofoam cups. It is the elite vessel for a beverage, but styrofoam is literally terrible.
It doesn't ever decompose.
No, it's horrible. But like there is nothing better than a crispy Coke in a styrofoam cup.
Does it taste differently?
Absolutely. And it feels different. The grip on the cup is not as cold. My hand isn't going to get chilly. The cups don't sweat.
Yeah, that's true. I only ever drink tea out of those styrofoam cups.
And it's still elite.
Yeah. I'm trying to think though, like
soft drinks are crispier, but a sweet tea, it's something is different. Something is different, and that's all I have to say.
It's all the chemicals they put in. It makes it taste different.
It must be the microplastics. So what the problem is that like there will be a day where Chick-fil-A and Sonic like succumb to, I don't know, some environmental agreement that's probably going to help.
They're going to succumb to the turtles eventually.
And like, is that good for the future of like our generations and our families? Yes. Do I approve of that? Yes. However, there will be a time I'm going to bet in our lifetime where styrofoam cups stop being a thing, and I'm mourning that loss already.
Yeah. Understandable.
And those are
I like that question, and I'm really glad you front loaded me because I had to think about it. Like,
well, I thought that would be a weird one to throw at you.
Yeah.
because it was like on my mind already. So to throw it at you seemed unfair.
Yeah, I
and
wouldn't have known.
therefore, here we are.
Here we are, ladies and
Sound
gentlemen.
off. What would you like to be not bad for the environment? Fast fashion or styrofoam cups? Are you team fast fashion or team styrofoam? It sounds so lame when I think about.
No, but it's a good question.
Point.
It makes you think a little deeper about our environment.
Yeah, that's me. Always thinking so deep.
What have you been reading this week?
Still reading the same book. I've not been good at reading this week.
No, same.
I've not watched a new movie.
I just picked up the Assassin's Blade which I talked about last week. I just picked that back up yesterday, and now I can't stop reading it. But it took me a little bit to get back into it because we've just been busy, and I've put like TV shows in front of reading. But as far as TV shows, like we're still watching House of Dragons, which we're almost done with season 1. So good.
Oh my God, I forgot you started season 1.
Yes, I know. It's
crazy.
So good. And then I'm still watching Your Honor. I'm still on season 1 of
Anything else
that.
you want to tell us? How does it end?
I would like to tell you there is a lot of action-packed twist, and I'll leave it at that. I'm not going to spoil anything else this week.
She's growing. She's evolving. She's changing.
I've learned.
I'm so proud of you. Yes, I'm so glad you're reading Assassin's Blade. I'm so glad. I am still reading the same series, the same book, Tower of John. I'm just like have put it on the back burner because I'm really devoted to a game called Township that is kind of like Farmville but on your phone. And like I'm just trying to build an empire, you know.
You scare me.
I scare myself. So I've just have been really like harvesting my crops, thinking of the right things to plant for the needs of my people, growing my population, expanding my territory. And so it's like I just haven't had time.
You don't have any more energy left after building your empire.
Well, it's just like whenever you're trying to grow something for your family, you know, there's not a lot of safe places left in the world. And so when I'm creating it on my app game situation, like I just, you know, I have things to do. I'm busy.
Okay.
Some people get to take off work.
Well,
I don't.
I don't have the whole summer
when you're the mayor of a small town.
Yeah. Your job is taken seriously.
Yeah. Like I'm a mayor. I'm a farmer. I'm doing all the trade. Like I've got
for
things
the people
to do.
who aren't busy like you are.
Yeah.
It
must
people
be
like
nice.
me that
it must be nice to read
TV shows
and watch
reading.
TV.
I will say, I had ordered The Fourth Wind by Kristen Hanna. I haven't read it yet because I got into Assassin's Blade, but Grace said she just read it and it is her favorite book by Kristen Hanna. Yeah, and she's
read everything you've read from her so far.
So I'm excited to read that. Maybe after like the first or second book of the series that I'm in now. I also have a new artist I'm listening to. I know.
Who?
So he stumbled upon me and via TikTok. He came up on my For You page.
That sentence had so many prepositions in it.
He stumbled upon me. I stumbled upon him, actually. But, you know, I'd like to think it's reversed. So his name is Zach Top. And
Zach Top?
Yes, Zach Top. I think he's from like Washington or something like that. Fun fact, though, he sings basically like 90s country music.
Oh.
So do not go look him up if you don't have an appreciation for 90s music.
Yeah,
because
I don't.
And if you don't, you're not going to like him.
I mean, I'll try it.
It's a very like, it's a distinct sound.
Yeah.
And if you're a true country fan, like you like that genre, you like that era of music.
Yeah.
And so that's why he's making like, I mean, he's making it big right now because everyone wants like a revival of that type of country music, like Clint Black, Vince Gill, Alan Jackson.
I like Alan Jackson, I think. Question mark.
How dare you?
I think I do.
Not one of the kings of country. I mean, George Strait is the king of country, but there's multiple.
You know, I'd have to hear it to have an opinion. Whenever I'm thinking like aughts country, not 90s country, I'm thinking Kenny Chesney, Brad Paisley.
Oh,
that's
like
not my
early
vibe.
2000s. Yeah, or 2010s. That was like 2010 was Kenny Chesney.
I could stab my ears out rather than listen to Kenny Chesney.
I'm going to be honest. I don't think you would like him, but give him a try. I showed him to Matt yesterday, and Matt was like, oh, he's okay. And he likes 90s country, but I think you have to listen to it a couple of times. Like, you have to get why there's such like lore around him right now. But what's funny is, so Carly and Tanner, my sister-in-law and brother-in-law, they're always like ahead of country music artists.
Yeah.
Like before they make it big, they already know about them.
That's funny.
Like Zach Bryan,
Yep.
they were listening to him way before. And so I meant to text Carly because I went to follow Zach Top on Instagram to see what he was about. And Carly was already following him. So I'm like, they're so ahead of the game. And I'm like 6 years
so
too late already.
trendy.
So
They're the
anyways.
tastemakers of country music.
They are. No, if I follow like what they're listening to, and then in 3 or 4 years that person's big, somehow they make it ahead of the game. I think
black
they have
magic
it in.
are they doing?
I think they have like they're a
They're
little
doing
weasel
like a little
in. Yeah, like they've weaseled their way into
the country
music.
scene. They're like, no, we just like watch TikToks and know things.
And I'm like, oh well, my FYP didn't show me. Until
so it must
too
not be
late.
that big. Okay. Well, that's fun. I have not been listening to anything new. I've been.
You're just living your life.
I mean,
it's
like,
okay.
what have I been doing? Not question mark. Not sure. Exclamation point. Like,
And you don't realize it until you come to record today, and then you're
Uh-huh.
like thinking back through the week, like, oh wait, what did I accomplish this
and
week?
again, it should put. I think for a normal person, it would probably put like some fire under you to like get things done. That you've got this like weekly thing where you've got people that listen to you and are going to be like, oh, what has she accomplished this week in her reading and watching endeavors? And because of my oppositional defiance, I'm like, I haven't done anything. What's up? Like, why? Like, do something with your
and I
life.
show up, and I'm hoping you guys give me an A on my homework.
Literally.
Like,
Literally.
and if I don't get an A, I'm going to be devastated. So.
Well, I did watch a new something last week. I took Addie and Fielding to the movies by myself
You
for the
did,
first time.
which was very
I took
great.
Fielding to the movies for the first time. I had not gone with Addie either. But Addie's almost 5. Like, she was easy and sat through it and enjoyed it and whatever. 2.5 is too young for the movies.
You
for
want
my
it to work
particular
so bad.
child.
Well, and Fielding loves movies.
He loves movies. And at home, he really does a good job, especially if it's something he likes. I mean, he will sit almost the entire movie and watch it. But I think that was my problem, is that this was a new movie. And so he hadn't seen it yet. There wasn't enough buy-in. He's like his mom. He's got to warm up to it, and then he's got to watch it 700 times until he hates it. So we saw Despicable Me 4, which was so cute, so good. I freaking love the Despicable Me series.
Well, and Addie had an absolute blast.
Yeah,
with
we
you,
had so much fun. And then the movie theater we went to has like an arcade situation outside of it. So afterwards we went and like pretend I let them play on the stuff, but like no one was there. It was freaking 1:00 on a Monday. But Addie's like, where are the coins? But Fielding was just happy to like be playing with the things. He didn't understand that he wasn't actually playing. And I was like, oh, sorry, Addie, I forgot them. And she's like, next time, don't forget the coins.
Oh my
And I was like,
gosh.
okay, you little shit.
Fine, I'll put it on my list.
I hope you enjoyed your $30 worth of movie snacks, because I'm like the freaking. It was $30. Literally, I paid more for snacks at the movie theater
Then you do the
than I did
tickets.
for the tickets.
Yep, that's
which
how
I
it
know that's
goes.
how they make their money. Insane.
No, it's crazy. And I had said, like, let her have what she wants.
Yes.
But then she comes home telling me, Amma told me not to pick out 5 snacks, and I did. And now my belly hurts. And I thought she was wrong, but guess what, Mom? She was right.
Emma's always right.
She admitted that you were right.
Because that little turd drank a whole icy, because that kid loves ices.
Oh,
like
yes,
she
she
will
does.
sell our
She
souls for
loves
ices,
some
which like
ices.
honestly same. But she got an icy. She had some sort of Airhead candy, whatever, and then I had gotten myself a Coke, and so she had her icy, ate probably half her bag of candy, and then started drinking my Coke. And I was like, your stomach's
And she
gonna
doesn't
hurt.
drink Coke either.
I know.
So.
I thought, well, that's why I was like, yeah, go ahead, drink my Coke. Because I thought she was going to be like, it's spicy and
Yeah.
not want it. And then she was like, I actually like Coke. And I was like, of course you do now. Cool. Enjoy it. It's yours.
your $10.
Yeah, it's yours now.
Coca-Cola.
I'm really glad we could share this. So she drank that, and I was like, your stomach's going to hurt. You need to stop. She's like, no, it won't. No, it won't. And then
She comes home. Oh, Emma was right. Emma was right.
Yep. Remember that, Adeline. Remember that in 10 years whenever you think I'm lame.
Yeah, exactly.
That was fun. I mean, Fielding did relatively okay. He's just not he wanted to run around the theater, and then he realized he could climb in between the seats, like where the armrests were, so he could like jump between rows very easily. And I can't because I'm a full-size adult. So he was getting away from me very fast, but he did pretty okay.
Yeah.
pretty okay.
I mean, for 2.5, I think it's just, it's a lot to sit through a movie at a theater.
Oh, for sure. I'm thinking maybe our next endeavor will be Moana 2, which comes out in November. And I feel like he'll have enough, like, that'll be a different, he'll be almost 3. I'm like, maybe that'll be.
And Moana is very calming. It has more music to it. And I think that helps them zone in a little bit more.
Well, in Despicable Me 4, not enough minions for him. He wants all minion action. When the minions were on TV, he was like, glued. But it was the in-between times where, you know, the main characters of the story were on the screen that he was like, I'm not interested. Can you please bring back the minions?
I just want minions.
Banana. I think he likes the minions because they speak the same language.
Yes, he understands exactly what they're saying.
He does. He does. So that's we've got it wrong. We've had it all wrong this whole time. He is talking. He only speaks minion.
Hey, genius.
But yesterday, we saw our friends Chris and Lena, and we've just all been so busy this summer. And Lena made the comment that Fielding was talking so much more and so much better. And I was like, it's so nice to hear it from somebody
who's not seeing him every single day.
Exactly. And but yeah, he really is. He's doing a good job. He is making big leaps in the last few weeks.
Yeah, I agree.
And he tried to leave with Courtney as soon as she got here today.
It was so cute. He put on his little backpack, his car's backpack that has his diapers and wipes in it, put that around him, not like a regular backpack, around his neck.
Yeah.
And then he grabbed my hand and I said, okay, tell mom and dad bye, waves and blows you guys a kiss.
Bye.
And of course, I'm like, ha ha ha, he wanted to go with me.
He also kissed you on the lips for the first time the other night.
And
I thought you were going to cry.
I was, because he was telling me bye. And I was like, bye, Fielding. Came up, like unprompted, and just gave me a kiss.
It was cutest so little kisses right now.
Sweet.
Well, he just started at the end, and it's like my favorite thing on the earth. I'm like, never thought I'd be a mouth kissing with my kid, and I'm like, however much you want to do it, it's fine with me.
Well, Tucker, like anytime he sees Matt and I like kiss goodbye or whatever, he gets his little lips puckered and he gives Matt a kiss and me a kiss and gets so excited about it. Like, and he'll do it like 2 or 3 times each, and then he's done. It's so cute. It's so sweet.
I love Tuk Tuk. He's such a turd. That kid. His cheesing right now is so out of control. Like he has become a triple meat and cheese ham sandwich. Like he is so out of control with his like the way he just grins.
He just loves, and he just grins and grins, and has started like flirting. Well, testing, but he's also started flirting. Like I had a sitter come over, and he waved bye at me and turned towards her and just was smiling. I'm like, so I'm chopped liver now?
Yep.
Is that what you're telling me?
Yep.
But it's just like his little grin that he gets on him is so freaking cute.
He kills me. That guy makes me giggle. Yeah. Anyways, that's the state of the union on our children.
Speaking of state of the union,
Joe Biden just dropped out of the. Well,
and this will be kind of old news by the time it makes it to you guys on Wednesday morning. But we're recording on Sunday, and right before I came over here, you texted me and said Joe Biden just dropped out of the race.
Yeah.
And this is not a political podcast, you guys, but this is history.
Well, I mean, yeah.
History in the making.
But I'm also LOLing because we were like, no, we're not going to talk about this because it's too political when Trump got shot in the ear last week. And now Biden drops out and we're like, actually, we're going to talk about it. But it is kind of crazy. I mean, it's just a crazy, like, not to get political in any way, sort of.
Regardless,
it's been a crazy 2 weeks. Historic times. Yes. Like we had our
former president was
almost assassinated, and then our current president said he's retiring and not running again. Which I am a history teacher, so I should know this, but I don't know that that's ever happened. That like the incumbent has been like, no thanks, I'm good.
But this quickly before
elections,
right?
Elections are coming up.
So I don't know. It's just we're living
time.
In weird times. And I always think like whenever big things are happening, I'm like, we're living in times that will be written into history. You know, that will be talked about years later. And
Absolutely.
So like the I keep saying assassination, the attempted assassination on former President Trump. Those are things that
they will be in a textbook.
Talk about. For years and years, and it's crazy because you see all these like stupid memes that go along with whatever's going on politically, but it's like at the end of the day, this is history making shit like that we're living through.
This will be whenever I taught AP US history, a lot of it was centered around election years because that's where you see a lot of major events happening, and that's just like gives you a good frame of reference about what's going on in these times. This election, I feel like is the most historic one we've probably seen in our lifetimes as far as just what is going on. Like it is really crazy. And it's so crazy because our kids aren't even going to remember that they were alive for these things.
Yeah.
Isn't that wild?
It'll be stories that we tell,
Yes.
you know, when you were 2 or 4 or whatever, this
It's
is
wild.
what happened.
So keep a journal.
Yeah.
Because this is crazy.
Yeah.
And we might stop this podcast because we're going to go into end times and turn to Mad Max.
We're going to still be doing this every day.
With our shoulder pads and like spikes fighting off
every
everyone.
Sunday, baby. Let's go.
I love it. Yeah, no, that's crazy. But that literally just happened right before we started
So
recording.
I just had to mention it
It's
because
wild.
my mind is still like kind of reeling from it.
I don't
so-
know what this means or what's going to happen. I'm hoping before we record the next time, we'll see who's
Who's the
Democratic nominee is.
Surely there has to be one, right? Like
There has to be.
There has to be
but-
for him to drop out.
Yeah, but I have no idea who that's going to be. So I'm
Wow.
very interested. I'm very interested to see if Trump follows suit. I don't think he will, but I'm
I don't
very
think he
interested to
will. Yeah.
see because the talk has been about age and now he's going to look so old
Compared to whoever
they choose. I mean, I don't think they're going to put another 80-something-year-old in there.
I mean,
But stranger things have happened, so I don't know. So anyways, that's your political
Yeah.
update because
It's just crazy.
Shit's getting crazy
It's
in
crazy.
the USA. Europe, if you're watching, it's a shit show over here.
yeah. Can we come join you? Can we?
My
come
favorite
move
thing
over
right
there?
now that's going around like on memes and stuff is that it's just a sentence that says the European mind can't comprehend, and it's like pictures of like strip malls or like whatever, like a I don't know, beautiful landscape, and there's like McDonald's in it, and it's like the European mind literally can't conceive of why we are such trash, and it's so funny. But then I also saw a thing that was like the European mind is starting to be able to understand because there was a British guy. It's like I sent it to you guys. I'm driving a Ram truck on a highway in America. And he was like yeah,
Hey,
brother.
there are some beautiful things here, y'all.
I think he started screaming freedom at the end of it. It was so funny. I'm like, oh yeah, there it
Let
is.
freedom ring.
Something
baby.
you lose brain cells when you get over here.
You get in that
You're
truck
sad
and you
you're-
just go.
yeah, there's something about a guy in a truck. Yeah. Yeah. Well, we are going to, like we talked about our after episode last week, which honestly, after we recorded last week, both Courtney and I were like, was that just felt like we were kind of like dumping out of our mouths all these random things about like our feelings on education, gentle parenting, and all these things.
And it felt very vulnerable too,
Yes.
which we said from the beginning, like that was one of our goals is
Yeah.
to like stay real, stay vulnerable.
Yeah.
But when you're actually doing it, it's hard.
it's scary.
It's hard because I'm like, I know these, a lot of these people that are listening and they're listening to my thoughts on things and like taking that into consideration of how they might view me differently or how they view the topic that we're talking about differently.
Sure.
Like the pressure was on, but then we both listened to it.
Yes.
And it was one of our favorite episodes that we did. And that brought us to what you were about to say.
Yeah. So we are, and this was kind of one of our goals too before we ever started this podcast.
Yeah.
Like whenever we were in our idea stage, was like to have more topic focused episodes to where we don't just like, I mean, obviously we've been chit chatting for probably 20 minutes at this point, but not getting rid of that, not getting rid of Mom Time, not getting rid of any of the segments, but also like having kind of a focus a topic. And so
kind of big topics.
yeah, like a big topic and kind of get our takes on it. Like we said last time, Courtney and I are not like professional topic people. There are going to be things that we probably sound uneducated on or we don't know about and we need to learn more. But we are moms, we are teachers, we are people, we
have experience, but just like anything that you might consume via TikTok, Instagram, whatever, like take it or leave it. If you don't like what we're saying, then that's okay. Because guess what? Like there are certain topics too, like you and I are going to have different views on because we're humans. And so if you don't like what we're saying about something, it's okay. Like
It's
you don't
totally
have to like it. But just know, like, we're going to wear our heart on our sleeves when we're doing these topics because that's the goal, right? It is to be
vulnerable and to, I think, like you guys have stuck with us up to this point.
I know.
This is episode 15.
No, that's insane.
Episode 15. And I know I didn't put that together
Which
until
means
just now.
because we did 2 episodes in 1 week one time. So we've been doing this for 14 weeks, which is crazy that we've been doing it this long.
It's wild. We're out of our first trimester of this podcast.
Our little baby.
So cute. But yeah, I feel like you guys have like bought in enough to us. You know us well enough to like know when we're serious, when we're joking, whatever. But if there are topics you want us to cover, you have questions about, like definitely send those in. And I will say like a testament to this concept that we just talked about right before we started recording was that, pretty much every week I put on our Instagram, like, send us your mom's drum, send us your this, send us your this. And like feedback to that, just to be honest, has like dwindled down more. At the beginning, we had a lot of stuff, but I think maybe, people are like, yeah, I don't really want to share. I don't want to do this, whatever.
Because then it's them being vulnerable too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So today I asked about our topic on my Instagram story, and I got on my personal Instagram story, I got so much feedback.
Yeah, you did.
And I'm willing to bet that when we're done recording, we're going to have even more.
Yeah. Which is exciting. It's exciting that like you guys feel comfortable enough to like trust us to like write in like your opinions as well. Cause I'm like excited to get to share those.
And it gives us, it's not fun talking to the void. Like I want to hear what you have to say because it also gives us like, Courtney and I disagree on plenty of things very civilly, but we like have different thoughts on things for sure. You saw that last week with like our takes on just how we raise our kids.
Yeah.
When we can do that in a like positive, civil way, but it's also nice to have different viewpoints that we can consider whether we agree with or what we can take from those things. So all that to say, moving forward, that's what we're looking at. And hopefully there's topics that are interesting to you. But today, what we wanted to talk about is adult friendships, because this is something that I think a lot of people struggle with. And a lot of people are like confused about how our friendship works.
Yeah.
A lot of people.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to get like super into details, but I just had something happen this week with a former friend that really kind of was I don't know how to explain this. Just kind of like a crazy stir up of emotions, right? It's someone I haven't talked to in a long time. And again, I'm not going to get into like super specifics, but someone came and like asked me about the dissolution of our friendship and what we did wrong and what happens and whatever. And we were able to kind of talk about it a little bit, but it was just an interesting point because I think it's like, it's so hard to find friends as an adult. And then what's even harder is when those friendships don't work out.
Yeah.
And you have to kind of break up.
Yeah.
And to
me,
the emotional breakup of friendships is harder than breaking up with a romantic partner.
Yeah.
I haven't done that since I was like in high school, really, college, I guess. Like break up with a guy. But I'm saying like anytime I've had friendships dissolve, that feels messier and almost more painful in some ways. So it's interesting. So that is heavy on our minds like this week because obviously like anything I experience, Courtney experiences it at the same time because we are two souls.
I get to listen to it and then
what? Oh wait, no, 2 bodies, 1 soul. Like we have more than one body. But yeah, so that's something we want to talk about, and I don't know even how we want to like start this. But what's your take?
My take. Well, let's start by explaining like kind of our friendship because I feel like we clicked very instantly, and sometimes that just happens and sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it's a friendship that evolves, and I think that's where I've struggled is like whenever I'm finding like more adult friendships, like you're not always going to instantly click with someone.
Right.
Like sometimes it is like a slow, like kind of slow burn or whatever you call that, where it just works. It's a slow process and you just have to like take that as it is because there's a lot of different factors. But as far as our friendship, we clicked instantly.
Absolutely.
And then I feel like we have just like built this almost like sisterhood together. So now we are more like family. And I know your family very well, mine. And so it's because we are so close, that is what's happened. And like I have my sister Lauren, and that doesn't take away from like my sistership, whatever, with her. Well, but Lauren, you are in an added,
Lauren has adopted me as her sister as well, and my sisters have adopted you as. I think that's what's funny about like our friendship too, is that like we're not seen as friends. It's like it's literally like family. And I think that what bonded us so instantly too was that we were both living out of state. We were both super young. Connor and I weren't married yet when we met,
but we both had very similar, like none of us had kids yet, and so we had very similar like interests.
And we were living out of our home state for the first time. We had no one else, and it was like almost like trauma bonding.
Yeah.
It was like we're all panicking and we're in this new place. And we were together all the time.
Yeah.
Like, Ohio, it's so funny. We like look back on those memories and it seemed like we didn't know how good, like what good times we were living in. You know what I mean?
I know.
Like,
it was so fun.
It was so fun. I like missed that period of life because we had about a year that was just like so freaking fun.
And if people are wondering, like, how did you end up in Houston, like living very close together again? Because it's weird. I get it. But our husbands work the same job. So I'm like,
the same job at the same company. That's how we met.
That's how they met. And so whenever you're in natural gas, you kind of move where the wind blows, which is how number one, we ended up in Ohio. Number two, you guys ended up in Louisiana in between Ohio and Houston. And then number three, we ended up in Houston. And it's funny because I always said, like, this is before I even met y'all, I'm never going to live in Houston because I'd come and visit my dad and I just didn't like the city. But then
it's obviously
getting to know the city better, I feel so much differently. But when Matt had applied for jobs like all over, he applied for jobs in Oklahoma, in Dallas,
Colorado.
Denton. There was one in Colorado. He even interviewed there. And then they ended up back at the same station. So that's how we ended up working close together because obviously they have to commute to the same place.
Yes.
But it's just crazy because we could have ended up 100 different places and we tried. And like God just brought us to where we were supposed to be.
That's what I was about to say. Like, not to be like, I'm not a crazy, super over the top religious person, but I will say like there are so many elements of our friendship that feel like there was a hand guiding us to each other. And I know that sounds so corny, but for real, like
we have very similar kind of backgrounds in the way.
Similar backgrounds. We've got our siblings are like dispersed in ages very similarly.
Our brothers would go to the same high district, but they would go to the same high school.
Yeah. Our dads live in the same neighborhood. Our dads.
And have lived there my dad's lived there for 23, 24 years, like in the neighborhood he's in. Yeah. And same with your dad.
My dad's lived there for probably, how old am I? He's probably lived there for like 14 years.
Yeah. And I'm not from Houston, you guys. No. So I think like little things like that, it's like, it just showed us like, oh my God, like this is something like very valuable. But all that being said, like it's been a very easy friendship, but there's also work you have to put into it. And so with friendships, like I would say if you click immediately, like it just seems so easy. And I think that that's how friendships should feel most of the time. It's not always going to be easy. Sure. You have to put in work.
It shouldn't feel like so much work in the beginning. Like we definitely had like a honeymoon phase, I feel like. And I mean, not that we don't now, but like we also just know each other so much more now. Yeah. It's not that like, I don't want to say lust. Lust is wrong because it's like got a sexual connotation. I mean like, I want to be with you all the time. Like whenever we first met, it's like, what are we doing? Are we going to hang out? Are we going to? And like we were always so on the same page too, because I think both of us were so scared to annoy the other one because it was like I don't want to come on too strong.
Yeah.
But I feel like I probably bullied you into being like, no, bitch, you're my best friend now. We're hanging out.
That's not how I feel. But I don't feel like you bullied me.
We're hanging out. Well, I mean, literally, we met in June of 2017. I got married in October of 2017. A month before my wedding, I was like, Courtney, I'm in love with you. I want you to be my bridesmaid. I want you to be at my wedding. And so you were like, I'll do it. I'll do it if I can. And so we literally my wedding's in 4 weeks. We're starting to call our dress company, see if we can get Courtney a bridesmaid dress, see if we can rent Matt a suit, do all these things. You get to my wedding, pissed off every other bridesmaid I had.
Like, sorry, I know I'm the new girl around here. I'm sorry.
But like, there's so many of them like that, because I was 22 when I got married. Like, I'm not friends with most of the women that were in my bridal party. The other two were my my stepsisters, my sister-in-laws. So like, they're my family, but like, you have stood the test of time. And so it's so funny, like how these things have evolved and we have grown and been in so many different life phases. But it is just like a click. And I don't know how else to describe it other than it just like has always worked.
Yeah.
You know, but like we waited until we were in our 20s to meet each other. Like that's just how it ended up working. So, you know, if we had met in high school, who knows, we might not have liked each other.
Yeah,
so like I think there is a time for everybody to meet kind of their like friend soulmate.
And so on the flip side of that, like I have my best friend back home, Grace, and I think like her and I's relationship is a good example of like that long distance relationship because we've been friends since high school. And I mean, she lives in Oklahoma still, like where we grew up, but I've moved around and it's something like her and I have had to make a point of when are we getting together? Like when are we traveling to you or you traveling to us? And like it doesn't feel like a job, right? It doesn't feel like, oh, like I have to make time or she has to make time, but it's like it's an unspoken, hey, like we're doing this to make this work. And then there's little things too, if you're not going to like physically see each other. Grace and I do Sunday photo dumps of the week, and we do it every Sunday. And so just from our camera roll, like whatever like random pictures we've taken, we send to each other. And it's just nice. It's like a fun little glimpse.
Well, it's a way to catch up. It's not just like social media. Yeah,
exactly. And,
I love that.
You know, we may not talk like every single day, but we text like on a regular basis, and it's just putting in that effort, right? It still feels easy, but you do have to put in effort, especially whenever it's like a long distance friendship.
Yeah, for sure.
Because you just have to be cognizant of it. Like, oh, I haven't checked in on Grace, or I haven't heard from her. Like, I need to text her.
Yeah.
And so, you know, we're all busy. We all have our things going on in life. And, you know, if that were to happen to me, like someone weren't to check in on me, I will know I understand, right? No hurt feelings, but it's like I'm very aware of like trying to reach out to like my close friend group. I'm not good about like random reaching out, but like with my people that I'm close to, you know, just thinking about like, oh, I need to check in on them.
Like putting in that effort and doing those things. So now let me ask you, what do you think? Why has your relationship with Grace stood the test of time? Like, what is it about y'all's friendship? Because I know, like, obviously, I know ours because I'm half of it. But, like, what would you advise people, I guess, that have, like, had friends from high school? Like, how do you know where to water those gardens and where to not? It's like, y'all's is a success story.
Yeah.
So, like, why and how, I guess is my question.
I think we've both been very willing to be a part of each other's stories, you know, in different capacities at different times. And I think we've also both been very willing to like accept the person as they are in whatever phase of life they're in, because we live different. We have so many similarities, but like we live different lives. And I think making sure like you make space for them because they're going to change and you're going to change too. And so as long as you have a mutual agreement, an unspoken agreement, most of the time, it's not like you're sitting, you know, saying like having this big conversation, but that no matter what life, you know, brings in different phases, right, is what I'm trying to say. So whatever phase you're in, like they're a part of that. But it just may look different for you guys, you know? So that's a long answer.
No, I mean, but it answers the question.
Yeah. I was just trying to think if there was anything else that I could think of like to add on to that. But I just feel like we both have a mutual, what am I trying to say?
Like a mutual understanding.
Yeah, and we put forth mutual effort is what I'm trying to say.
And you'll have like mutual respect for the effort you're both putting in as well.
Yes,
like it's not, no,
and that effort might look different at different times.
Sure.
But I know that she wants the friendship and she knows I want the friendship. And so I think that's what's made it you know, stay the test of time because I'm not friends with like other people that I went to high school with. Just in general, like, you know, really close friends that I had, I'm not friends with them anymore. And so, it just, friendships they're all unique and it's just based on the person too.
It is. It's so based on the person. And that's like another part too that I like want to dive into as well is like when is a friendship not working? When do you have to do that dreaded, terrible friend breakup? Like
that's hard.
It's tough. And like you said, it looks different for everybody in every case. But in my experience, it's been like, it's always a painful process, even if you like, you know, that it needs to happen. But like, I think that once the friendship isn't like serving you daily, weekly, monthly, however often you like look for that kind of confirmation from your friends, if you're having more arguments than you are agreements, if you're just not, it feels like work.
Well, on the topic of arguments, because there have been things like we disagreed on or like you've apologized to me or I've apologized to you. And I think that's a big part of friendships is knowing like you're not always going to agree. And like because we are like sisters, sometimes we like fight like sisters too. And it's not often, right? And because we're both very chill. Like we know when to let things go.
I'm like, I don't think we've ever had a real,
we've never had a real fight.
But we've definitely had disagreements.
We've had things that we've had to apologize to each other for, if something we've said, or we knew that we hurt each other's feelings. And so it's kind of like a relationship where you're like, oh man, like I gotta apologize. Like it's my turn now. And so making sure, like, if you do have a disagreement or something, like, don't be above apologizing to your friend.
No.
That's a part of any type of relationship.
Absolutely. And also don't like think that you are so right in your thoughts that you can't, like, that's something I've had to grow up about a lot. Like, I have a lot of opinions and I'm very like, I know everything and I don't know everything. And so I think like growing into that part of myself and being like, I don't know everything. And the thing is, like, whatever floats your boat, floats your boat. Whatever floats my boat, floats my boat. We're on different journeys.
We're going to do different things.
And we're going to do different things. And it just is what it is. And we can do those things without it being this like knockdown drag out. Like if you want to do XYZ and I want to do XYZ, goodbye. Like do your thing. I'll do my thing. It's fine. Like have space for everyone to do things differently and feel differently about things.
But back to like when you know a friendship is like at the end of it, right? Like you've had a bunch of arguments and you feel like those arguments, they're just like not repairable. Like no amount of sorries would like fix that, right?
Or
is
like,
that how you feel?
Yeah, I think that's part of it. And then I think too, like, I'm an avoider of conflict. I do not like conflict, especially with people that I know well. Like I will be the first person to like go like, I'm not like call the manager, but you know what I mean? Like if I need to do something, like I need to stand up for somebody, I will do that. But if it's like standing up for myself, I have a very hard time with that. So I think whenever like I've been in those situations, I start really like pulling away and being like a recluse. And then sometimes that makes people try like triple as hard. And then I recluse more. And it's just like this gross pattern. And so I think when you get to that point too, like understanding your limits and kind of reading those cues from other people. Yeah. And even when I'm sure that's a very painful situation. Like I've had situations like that where someone's chosen to not be friends with me as well. You know what I mean? So I think just like recognizing when it's not a mutual situation anymore, right? Like recognizing that the friendship is kind of fizzling is more respectable and dignified and is going to feel better, I think, for everyone if you kind of bow out on your own. You know what I mean? Versus trying to force someone to be friends with you.
Yeah.
You know? But again, that's just my opinion. I don't know. It's hard.
No, and I mean, tricky. It's funny because we picked this topic and now I'm realizing how big the topic is.
I know. Like we could talk about this for years.
It's this monster of like adult friendships are hard and they're hard to find. And I guess anytime I've found an adult friendship, it's through like a hobby, you know, like running. I have a really, really good friend from that. Yeah. Like I said, from high school, from work, and then from my husband's work, you. But it's not like I meet someone out on the street. Like it's hard.
Well, like I have talked about this. I don't think I've talked about this on the podcast, but my 25th birthday, I drove up to Fredericksburg. Addie must have been little. Matt wasn't here yet. Y'all didn't live in Texas yet, right?
For your 25th?
Yeah.
It wasn't. No.
Okay. So anyways,
we weren't here.
Anyways, I drove to Fredericksburg because Connor was working there for the weekend. If you aren't from Texas, you may not know, but Fredericksburg is like a big wine town. There's wineries, whatever. Well, I was going with Connor's work coworkers. That's a bunch of big burly oilmen. So they weren't taking me to wineries. And it was also during the week. So whatever. I went to Fredericksburg and I met these girls out at a bar on my birthday. And it was like, oh my God, we're going to be friends forever.
Yeah.
And like buying shots and doing all the things. And they were like telling Connor that I was like the coolest person they've ever met. I still have pictures on my camera roll from this night. Have I ever talked to these girls again? No. Do I even remember their names? No.
Because it's not typical to like meet someone out in the wild and like just magically be friends with them. It's like either through mutual
imagine
people or
going through the world and not having those friends or like stay-at-home moms. I'm like, I feel for you. Like I don't know how you meet other people. Cause like when I go to things like my gym or whatever, like little gym classes for the kids and I'm with the other parents, I'm like, I want to die right now.
I think that's where social media plays in though. It's like you can find people there and then meet up. Like I think it's very hard to naturally meet someone like at one of those public places and then like just strike up a conversation.
Like I'm sweating. My kid is not listening to the teacher. He just threw up on the rug. Like goodbye. See you never.
But it's also putting an effort too. So someone, you had some really good responses of people who had replied to your story, and someone had said, it just made me think of it. Let's see. What did she say?
I sent it to you so discombobulated, so it's going to be hard to find.
Oh, like someone who makes it a point to get dinner, drinks, or talk and just shows up for you. But that can also be like if you're initiating a friendship because it's intimidating and it's hard, but just reaching out like, hey, do you want to go and grab drinks or whatever that is?
And speaking of being vulnerable, it is intimidating to like meet with people, and also it's another layer now with kids.
Yeah.
Because what if our kids don't get along?
Yeah.
And then like and also like let's say your kid like beats the shit out of my kid and you don't do anything about it. Now we're not friends because I can't correct your kid. You know, it's so like it's such a weird line to toe.
Well, and it's hard too. I think like, what if we meet up and like we run out of things to talk about?
Yeah, you know, it's awkward. See, that's funny. You stress about that more, and I'm like, I can talk to literally a brick wall.
Yeah. You can, and I can talk, but I have to have that like mutual. If someone is not talking as much, like I
think you get nervous about it, but you always do fine.
Yeah.
Like I've never seen you freeze up and not have anything to talk about.
Yeah.
So I think
but in my head,
you get nervous and I'm like, oh, we're going to have plenty to talk about. Like I'll get your whole life story. Like I'm going to ask you interrogation questions.
Oh, that's what that same girl had said. Like just putting yourself out there and asking someone if they want to hang or even just talk. I think that though, like putting yourself out there because it opens up the possibility they might say no or like, you know, or I'm busy or whatever. But like that's intimidating to me to be told no. Like, no, I need. Or what if they're like,
yes. I don't like you.
Yeah,
I don't like you. I don't want to hang out with you. And you're like, oh yeah, cool. Me neither.
I don't like me either. It's fine.
Like, yeah, literally. Like, no, you're weird. I'm good. It's like, okay, it's which like, who would do that though? Honestly, like.
No, I don't think anyone would actually do that. But someone else said you have to just basically go 0 to 100. Like here are my kids, my husband, my messy house, etc. Yeah. And I think that's really good advice. Of hey. Here's me.
It.
Like
I'm not putting on a show.
Yeah. There's no like slow flow. Like it's just to the point, to the beat, and like either you take them as they are and they take you as you are. And that's just, I think that's how you find out like our friendship's going to stand the test of time. Do they accept you for your rawest moments, you know? And even if that starts out as like they just see your family as they are in your house and everything, like that's what's going to lead to
like that
like a true friendship, not just surface level. Cause that's something I can't do is like, I don't want surface level like friends. I don't know what that characteristic is about me, but like I'm very protective of my circle of people. And that's why I have a small circle. But like
guess who's the ringleader?
Just she's like, I'm in the middle.
Guess who the center of the circle is?
If you're in my circle, like I will die for you. I will go to the ends of the earth for whatever you need. But that being said, like that makes me where I don't have energy to put towards like surface level friendships. And it's okay. Like I have friends where there's different levels of friends, right? Like I have friends where we'll hang out with the kids and it's fun and like I enjoy that. I don't even know what like a surface level friendship, like what it is in my mind, but where it doesn't feel natural, it feels forced every time. Yeah. It's really hard to like mutually, you know, get together or whatever. I think that's where I don't want to put my energy. You know?
I feel that so much. And I think that's a really like important point as friendships as a whole. If it feels like you are hanging out with an energy vampire and like they're sucking the life out of you and you don't feel like fulfilled from that friendship, run. Everyone run. Goodbye. It's good.
You leave happier and like more excited and like your spirits are lifted, like that's a friendship.
Yes.
Is whenever, you know, you can go hang out and do nothing. You don't have to do anything fun. You go hang out, do nothing, watch the kids play.
How often do I come to your house and we both sit on our phones or you're doing homework and like we just don't talk?
But yeah, like I'm still like happier when you leave, you know, like it lifts my spirit. So
what if I was like the feelings are not mutual? This is
goodbye.
I've actually called you here to break this up. I would never. You're stuck with me.
It's fine. You know fine. I agree. People had some really good things that they wrote in, like of what their advice.
Well, and so what I put on my story was the first question was, what makes good adult friends?
Okay.
And so that's where those topics came from. Or those responses.
Yeah. So here are some of the results of what makes good friends, right? Okay. Understanding we change, evolve with different life phases. So just be supportive and show up and be real. So what I was saying earlier, like that person, she like completely gets that, you know? Understanding sometimes you go for a long time without hanging out or talking and it's not personal. I think that part is harder for me, but that's on me, right? That's not on the friendship.
Yeah.
That's on me because if like I said, like I'm checking in or someone else is checking in on me. And so if it goes a long time, like if we went like 3 days without talking, I'd be like, why are you mad at me? Like,
no,
you know,
literally.
But I think that's where those levels of friendships come in.
Yes.
There are levels of friendships. You don't have to talk every day.
Yeah.
And you can, like hang out and you pick right back up.
Well, I think of like my friend Rindy and I, like that's how we are. Like we don't text every day by any means, but like when we do hang out or talk or whatever, it's like no time has passed.
That's how
like,
Amy and
I are. It's just an
easy
pickup. Yeah, but you and Amy, does Amy listen to the podcast?
I don't know. I think maybe she's listened a couple times.
Amy, you two are psychos because let me tell you how these bitches bonded. And I love Amy. Amy makes me freaking laugh. These psychos became friends running strike one for me. And their favorite thing to do is talk while they run.
So anytime like I go back to Oklahoma or she comes down, we make it a point. We go on a run.
And that's how we catch up. I'm like, first of all, I can't run in general, even if I'm just focusing on running. You guys are running and talking. You told me that one time and I was like,
she's able to talk a lot more than me because I'm out of breath.
When you told me that one, so I was like, excuse me. And we've gone on a total of 1 run together in our friendship.
And it'll never happen again. That almost caused a friendship breakup. Because you were so mad at me.
I wasn't mad at you. I was mad at what we were doing. I get very angry whenever I'm exerting myself. Courtney was scared of me that day. You were like, and you're like, just keep going. I'm like, I can't.
Like a monster came out of you, and I never want to see that monster
I hate
again.
physical
so
activity.
I'm never taking you on a run ever again.
That's really okay. That's really okay.
I'll barely go on a walk with you. Like
now, I like to walk. I'm just kidding. But there have been times where we've been out in public. If I'm out in the wild and having to walk,
you
like,
just get so mad.
I get so angry, and it's
get so mad.
No, and it's like a problem.
You're like a gremlin. Like it comes out of you.
Yeah, like don't feed them after midnight. Don't take her on hot walks.
No hot girl walks for her.
We want a cool breeze. I say I love to walk. I like to walk whenever the temperature's below 70 degrees.
Which is in December
in
here.
Texas, it's about 4 days a year. No, literally. My parents owned a gym when I was in high school and college and cosmetology school, a CrossFit gym. And I remember my stepdad, Troy, and I would like get in fights at the gym while we were working out because he'd be like trying to push me. I'd be like, shut up!
I can totally see that.
I get so angry. It's like really.
And Troy's going to give it right back to you too, though. You know,
Troy's
so he's going to be like, get down and do 5 more push-ups.
Oh, yeah. Like, because you mouthed off, go run. And I'd be like, I'm going to skip the run. No, you're not, bitch. Get out there. I'm like, oh, I can't. But yeah, I used to work out. Those days are long behind me. Now I'm like, a 7-minute anti-cellulite workout for old ladies? I'll do that one. I'll do that one on YouTube in my living room. I love a 7-minute workout. That's really all. That's all I have the attention span for.
But that goes back to, that doesn't go back to it, but getting back to the topic of there are friendships where, and when I say friendships on a different level, like that doesn't rank a friendship, right? Like it just means it's in a different capacity.
Yeah.
Like Amy and I have been friends for years now, 7, 8 years.
Longer than you and I have been friends.
It's just like we pick right back up. And so I totally agree. Like sometimes we go a long time, but we never take it personal. Her and I.
Yeah.
Someone said moving through different stages at different times, like sometimes, well, for him, his college friends aren't married, but just understanding like he's in a different stage, they're in a different stage, but you can still come together mutually.
Yeah. And that's hard, especially to me. What I struggled with, I feel like, was having a kid. And then also like I got married before a lot of my friends from high school. Yeah. And our lives were just so different.
It just
like,
changes
I got married
the
when
dynamic
most of them were in college still. So like they're going out and like at sorority parties and stuff like that. And I'm like gardening. Yeah. And like, I got to ask my husband if we've got any plans before I like hop on a plane and fly home. You know what I mean? Like, that was, so I think that's a very valid point. And then especially when you throw kids in that mix, dear God.
He also said, and I definitely agree with this one. A friendship, like a good friend, is someone who genuinely celebrates good news with you.
Aww,
like that is such a good point. And not to say, so this is a little nuanced because it's okay. We're all human, and so. Like whenever I was trying to get a job to teach, whenever I first moved here to Houston, and you went into teaching, and you got a job, and it was before I had gotten a call back. My first
teaching job.
And I like kind of cried because I was like, I'm so happy for you, but like a part of me was jealous because I was worried I wasn't going to get a job. And so I think it's like, but you knew my feelings on that. Like I was very open about like, I'm very happy for you. Right now I feel a little jealous, but we were able to talk about that. And so I was genuinely happy for you. I just had another feeling to go with it.
And I also didn't come at you like, what's up? I got a job. Like I was like, hey, I got a job offer, but
well, and you shouldn't have felt like that either.
But I think it's okay to also like not go over the top because then it was so much more fun to celebrate when we both were hired by the same district and we were like, oh my God, all of our breaks are the same. And that's how I feel now with you switching to online.
Yes.
I'm like, our kids are going to be at the same school for daycare. And then we have days without children and we're both like, how many times would I call you at school and be like, what are you doing? And you're like, I'm working. Stop calling me. And I'm like, but I'm bored. Come on.
Like, well, I just got done having a mental breakdown and crying at my desk, but what's going on?
Yeah. And I'm like, nothing much. Just went and grabbed lunch.
But yes, someone who genuinely like is happy for you and celebrates with you.
Yes,
even if that comes with like other feelings and just knowing that's okay, but also being honest helps too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, this like comparison, jealousy, assumptions, no grace given, like she could go on of like what makes like for problems in a friendship. And I agree, but like we just said, like just being, I've never felt like we've compared anything like that, but just being open about like when we are, you know, having some feelings.
Yeah.
Because we're human and like the longer you have a friendship, the just more natural it becomes and more of like that sisterhood.
Well, and I think if you let that stuff build up, like if you let comparisons like take over and you don't get them out to somebody, then it becomes like you make a mountain out of a molehill and it just like be open and honest and vulnerable. And like, I feel so much better when we have those conversations because then I'm like, oh, this wasn't a big deal.
Yeah. You make it like bigger in your head.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I feel like I've said absolutely 300 times. I'm going to stop.
I don't feel like that.
I'm going to start an absolutely jar.
And then the last one that I really liked was planning ahead, dinner in 6 weeks and stick to it.
Yep.
It's really hard, like with kids, trying to plan anything, my God. But I think that shows you're putting it, do whatever, like makes you feel like you're putting in that effort. So if it's dinner and you stick to that to the day, like, and that works for your friendship, then do it. If it's, hey, like, let's FaceTime sometime this week, like that's putting in that effort. Yes. So I think that is, so let's like name some key takeaways.
Yeah, no, I
think we've talked a lot.
Like we need a summary.
We've talked a lot. So what makes a good friendship?
What makes a good friendship to me is communicating, like being vulnerable, being open, being honest, celebrating each other.
Yeah. And putting in effort.
Putting in effort is such a big one. Putting in effort.
Because it is work and it doesn't feel like work, but it is like you have to be intentional with your time because we're spread out ladies. Like we have,
I don't like that.
No, sorry. Like we're spread thin. I mean, we're spread thin. We have a lot going on. Okay. I'll stop.
And so based on that,
in summary,
my last point. The last thing I think that makes a good friend is being able to laugh with each other and like laugh at situations. Because like, you know, there are things that we take really seriously, but I feel like you and I are good about like making fun of each other and like our situations. And like, even if the situation maybe isn't funny right at that moment, we can laugh about it later. Like we laugh about stuff with the kids all the time, or even like disagreements, or like you like laughing about like me getting so mad on runs. Like it's funny. But you also, like, you know that's not a boundary you cross. So it's like, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, so again, to summarize, communication, putting in the effort, being vulnerable, being open, celebrating each other, laughing together, not taking yourselves too seriously. Those are all such key components
And
of being a
guys,
good friend.
Having a friend, it's just so easy.
It's so fun.
So easy to make them as adults.
Yeah.
Like, you only need these 10 things that we've listed off.
Send your resumes. Wait, and then do the other. Actually, you tell me what you think makes a good friend. Or do you just agree with me?
No, I totally agree with everything you said. I think the big things are for me, like putting in the effort, accepting like who you are and where you are in life, and embracing that with a person, and then celebrating each other's victories. I think that's a big thing for me.
I really love that one. Okay, and then the second question I asked on my story was, what are some struggles you face with making adult friends? Because I think that is like what I hear. There's like a group of people I follow mostly from high school, and I feel for them because I feel like they have kids, or like they had kids younger, got married younger, and they're like, where do you make mom friends? And I see some of them and I'm like, I'm sorry. Or like maybe they don't live close to me or something, because I just feel like guilty almost that I have you, because I'm so like #blessed to have to have
Let
you.
me put my little halo on.
Yeah. Anyways, to be spread so wide open with you. But read the responses to those too.
Well, hang on. I thought you only sent. Maybe I combined everything. Let me look.
I don't think so.
Okay, let me see.
Your phone case is really cute.
Thanks. That was Shein, fast fashion.
This bitch. Just kidding. Mine's fast fashion too.
Like what? How can you make? Like, what are the struggles?
Yeah.
I mean, I think I just combined those with everything, and so, like they had said, well, I missed one. I guess the struggles are schedules if you have kids, finding a hobby that can lead to new friends, and that's all I'm seeing. I read off a bunch of them. So
Sorry.
No, it's okay. So, but like struggles with making friends, definitely like schedules, just trying to find a time. And then I like I guess it's a suggestion of finding a hobby that can lead to new friends. But that's hard. I mean, my hobby with running did lead to a friend. But it's hard. I mean, I don't even know.
I have no hobbies outside of cultivating my town. So, I have some online friends. We send each other grain and wool when we need it.
God, please. For the love.
No, but I think I cannot imagine how isolating it is if you're a person that works from home or a stay-at-home mom, because I feel like most of the friends I've made in the past few years have been work friends.
Same. So that is where because I've been thinking about this a lot, because I'm a person that with me going to be working from home this next school year, it's easy for me to like kind of coop up and like I make a point to like, talk to people, but at the same time, I am sometimes bad about like initiating plans because I'm afraid people will say no. And so I just need to, and I'm trying to get better at that, right? Like I've practiced this summer. Like it is you have to practice it of like sending out a text and like, hey, are you up for this? And if they're not, like they're just busy, and it's okay. It's nothing personal. But especially working from home, like I don't want to be isolated, because I stayed home with Addie for one school year, and I mean I had two friends up in Ohio like after you left.
This was after I left,
but it was still like the day to day because they worked.
Yeah.
Like they were at work. And so it was still isolating. And so I found like things to do with Addie, but I just want to make it a point of like making sure I'm making plans with people.
Well, this is actually where I'm going to reveal my master plan. And it's to isolate you so that you only have me. So this next school year, I will be cutting off your
Lena
phone.
and Rindy both work
from home too. I know.
Work from home.
Like work from home parties.
So little work from home gang.
Yes. I'm just excited. Here's my master plan. Here's what I want to happen.
Okay. I'm hearing you.
I want the children to go to school. Goodbye. And then I want there to be one day a week where our schedules align and we can go to lunch.
Yes. Oh my God.
That is my dream. And it's really funny how the mighty have fallen. And now that is like such a dream. But like imagine if we could lunch in Target.
Yeah.
Once a month even.
Perfect day.
What a gift.
But like we said earlier, making it a point. We just need to make it a point to do that. And like once every 2 weeks, once a month, like we go to lunch.
The guys are hearing that we're saying Target, and they're like an alert's going off somewhere in their brains. Did they say Target?
No.
They say Target?
No, cut them off. Cut off the podcast.
Cut off the podcast. Our debit cards are going to be just missing. Like, where are you guys? What else was I going to ask you? we did get a submission for mom trauma. Is there anything else you want to say about friendship before we?
No, I mean, I
wrap
feel
that
like
up?
we covered a lot. Turns out I think we need to simplify our topics a little bit more, because that was a lot. And I mean, I hope that I didn't just ramble. I feel like I just, I always feel like I just say a bunch of words and who knows if
Word
it has
salad?
any meaning.
No, I think it was beautiful. I think
Okay.
you're an eloquent angel.
Thank you. Mom Trom. And I laughed so hard at this one while I was
this is
reading it. It's
my
so
future.
funny.
Oh, and I have to tell about what I did with Addie the other day, but go ahead.
Almost got T-boned with my youngest in the car, and I literally was freaking out so bad and wasn't thinking, and I said to the guy, "You're a fucking idiot." Like he could even hear me with the window rolled up. Been there, done that.
Get it out.
And then my 4-year-old started saying, "You're a fucking idiot." And they finally got her to stop.
It's my future. My future. I have said, Fielding does not say a whole bunch of words. That little turd walks around. Shit. I'm like, come on.
This is in your vocabulary.
It's not, but you can't, but you're not saying mama, help, up, shit. Cool.
Sounds about right.
Tristan, my brother, went through a big phase of the F word because he heard my mom in a similar situation in the car. And I'm pretty sure the phrase was fucking idiot. Same as this one.
Yeah.
And
I believe that.
Tristan would call me a fucking idiot when he was 2.
He was using it in context, at least.
Yeah, it's really cool. Shout out to Tristan. Thank you for terrorizing me from the day you were born. The other day, Addie is learning her letters, which you talked about last week, and she's doing a great job. She's like recognizing stuff. She told me which theater we were supposed to go into, like Theater 1, whatever. Like she knew. The problem is now that she's caught on that we spell things, so she doesn't understand them. So one thing happens when I start spelling, she perks up her ears. Mm-hmm. What are you talking about? Do I get to go? And I'm like, bitch, we're not even talking about going anywhere. Like, we're talking about something else. let us live. But then the other night we were sitting at the dinner table, and for some reason, I don't know what I was even talking about. I spelled D-I-C-K.
Probably saying he's a D-I-C-K.
Yes. And Addie goes, "What's a D-I-C-K?"
Yeah.
And Matt looks at me and is like,
if daggers could have been
Emily,
shoved through you at that time.
And I was like,
yeah, that one's on you, bitch.
This is why
That's on you.
I don't want Fielding to talk or learn how to read. I'm just going to keep him illiterate at home because what are we supposed to do?
Or us trying to spell ice cream the other day. And I know she picked up on the sound I-C-E. So, of course, she's like, oh, I see. But she was like, oh, we're going for ice cream? We were like, no.
And then she was tweaking because she's like, do I get to go? I get to go when y'all are going to go somewhere?
Matt said we've got to start learning sign language instead.
Which I know sign language. So you guys need to get on my level. But also Addie will just pick it up.
I know. She's too smart for us.
We're screwed.
So no more spelling around her. We can't even spell bad words now. We just can't. We can't say bad words. When you come to my house, you have to be super lame.
I'm not even going to be able to talk. Like, what am I supposed to say? It's ridiculous.
My mom trom this week. It was actually really funny, and I texted you about it because Matt has the kids in the bathtub, and he starts yelling, "Court, court," and it's the same yell that he yelled whenever he fell down the stairs. So I'm like, oh my God, is Tucker drowning in the bathtub?
Hide in the kitchen?
No, actually ran this time. I've learned from my experiences. I ran to the bathtub, and he's like, "Tucker just pooped in the bathtub," and I was like, and he's like, "Get wipes." I'm like, okay, Matt, like I'll handle it. Let me get the wipes. But then instead I was like, no, here's the wipes. You pick it up. And he picks it up, and because he's colorblind, and so he couldn't tell the color.
Severely colorblind. It's one of my favorite things about Matt.
He's very, very disabled in that area, and just on color blindness. And he picks it up, and he's like, "Wait, this isn't poop," and it was Play-Doh, dark purple Play-Doh that had fallen out of Tucker's diaper or was hiding in a crevice. I don't know how it ended up in the bathtub, but it was like a big ball. I was like, "Babe, that's Play-Doh." And I just left. I left the bathroom. I'm like, you got this. I'm done. First, I think that our kid is drowning in the bathtub, and then I think he's made a big mess with pooping, and it's Play-Doh. So
Matt, our little colorblind friend, He's so colorblind. It's not funny, but it's hilarious in my humble opinion. My mom trauma is that I cut Fielding's hair. So short.
He's still so cute. But it's so funny.
I call Courtney. I FaceTime Courtney, and I'm like almost crying because I'm nervous laughing.
And you've picked up that trait from me.
No, I know. I was never a nervous laugher. And now I can sense your nervous laugh from a mile away. And I'm like, what'd you do, bitch? Like, did you get in a car accident? Did you
did I hit a curb?
Hit a curb? Like, bump someone's head? Like, what's, because you get the specific laugh when you know you've done something wrong. You're like, hee. So I call you nervous laughing and you're like, what? And I'm like, I just have to show you. And I show you Fielding and you're like, wow. And I'm like, I'm mortified. Like, I don't know what to say. And Connor's holding him, of course, like holding him down because he's struggling. And he started this new like groaning instead of just
he's gremlin number 2. He got it
correct. So Connor's holding him down and his hair is just like looking shorter and shorter. And I'm like, oh no. And Connor's like, we're cutting it. And I'm like, I can't, we're in it now. Like, we got to keep going. So yeah,
it's really short.
It's really
and
short.
The only problem with that is it cut off his cute little waves.
I know. Well, and
but it'll grow back.
It will grow back, and I'm like, it's fine. But he just usually has like these big, like crazy hair. Like that's just kind of his thing. Like he's got curly hair.
And what did he do in the mirror after you were finished with his hair? Because you traumatized this kid.
No, because my child is the most dramatic human that's ever lived.
No, he's going to end up in therapy because of this.
For sure. For multiple reasons, but yes, that for sure. He looks in the mirror, touches his hair, and is like, no. No. I'm like, Fielding, first of all, shut up. You're fine. You're literally fine.
But it's so him. That's part of him. I
know. Well, I'm like, I feel bad enough. You're making me feel worse. Let me gaslight you into making this about me. I'm upset.
Don't have feelings.
I did this.
You can't talk. You can't read.
Can't read, can't spell, and you can't have feelings.
You can't have feelings around here.
Yeah, should have just gotten a dog. It's fine.
You have one.
Don't remind me. No, so anyways, it's fine. It's not a big deal, but I was just trying something different. I was trying to clipper cut the top of his hair instead of scissor cutting. Oh my God. Scissor cutting it because I almost cut my knuckles off every time I cut his hair because he's acting insane.
Yeah. He's like a fish out of water.
Oh my God. So then I was like, okay, I'm just going to get the longest guard on my clippers and try to do it. And I mean, his hair just like shrinks up. It's weird, which I've seen this when I scissor cut it too. Like something happens where his hair just like shrinks into itself. And so it looks so much shorter than it is. Anyways, it's going to be okay. But I'm like, oh no, he's going to start the school year with his little short hair. Aww. But it's fine. It's fine.
He still has 2 weeks.
And he's like still so cute. He's got the cutest face. So it's fine. But his head's also huge. It's just a whole thing. It's a whole thing.
Oh, what are your cheers and jeers for this week?
I feel like I always have stuff to say before we start recording. And then I forget. One of my cheers that I just am thinking about, and I'm laughing so hard still thinking about this, is when we were at your house the other night, and Addie carries around her samurai sword in her underwear. Like she like sheaths it in like
she's been watching Mulan a lot.
Yeah. So she like puts it through the leg hole in the back. So it's like on her butt cheeks, basically. So Fielding went up to her and took the sword out and he was like playing with it. And then he went to go put it back and he was just trying really hard, but he's just stabbing Addie in the butt. And we're all just watching like, what's going on?
And he was trying to sheath it back.
Do we intervene?
It was too funny.
I was like,
and she was just standing there like waiting for him to sheath the sword. But it just kept.
And we're like, huh.
All right.
Well, so that's one of my cheers because it's so funny. I'm also going to see my brother this week, so I'm super excited about that. And then my jeers. Well, Fielding did try to mortally wound Addie, so they're both my cheers and jeers
with the same sword.
Same sword. He clocked her in the head.
2 years age difference, and he's already
clocked her in the head. Well, they play rough, like
they do, and she likes to play rough.
She asked for it. I'm just kidding. Yeah. It was actually her fault. No, Fielding clocked her in the head good with this plastic sword. Like she had a bruise the next day. And Addie is like having a full panic.
Because she thinks she's bleeding.
Am I bleeding?
Because she thinks it's a real sword.
She's like screaming. And I'm sure it hurt too. She's crying.
But she's in panic mode.
But she's panicking. And then Fielding starts pretend crying with her because he's such an empath.
He's not making fun of her at all.
Yeah. As he's like laying on the ground. Well, because we're also trying to figure out what happened.
Yes.
So then I go put Fielding in timeout. He's about to make himself throw up because he is so upset. I'm like, you can't hit your friends. You sit in timeout. You and I pass each other like in this little hallway you have in your kitchen, and we're both trying so hard not to laugh because like Addie's, am I bleeding? And
Fielding,
and we're like, oh, shut up, both of you, you're fine. So that's like
the eye contact just said it all as we're passing in the hallway. Like, oh God, what next?
Okay, your cheers and jeers.
My cheers. I'm on a little bit of a high right now from redoing my kitchen. I'm on a house high because Matt. So here's the thing about like being married. Even if they're not very happy that you bought something and then they have to install it, like at the end of the day, Matt's still gonna do it.
Yeah,
you know,
you've got to do it.
Like he just does it.
You don't have a choice.
Because he's tried to tell me like you can do it, and I'm like, no, I'm not gonna hang curtains that are 10 feet high.
Well,
and
like Connor will tell me that I'm gonna do it, and I'm like, okay, I'll do it, and then he's like, please stop, because I'm like, do you want these, Cricket?
So I was like, I'm sorry I bought these curtains that I know you didn't want, and even my grandma was like, oh, did Matt want those curtains? I was like, no, but they're up. But my breakfast nook looks so good. It's crazy what like sheer curtains. I redid my kitchen table from when I was growing up. I did that. I got new chairs, and like that space.
It looks so good.
It makes me so happy, and it's warm now.
Yeah.
And I'm just so happy we finally got curtains put up in our bedroom too, which we've waited. We've been in this house for over a year now, and we didn't have any blackout curtains in the bedroom because they're just super expensive. So finally got that in, and that was all happening this morning. And so I just feel super, super happy in that space. My jeers was Grace was supposed to come in this weekend, and she had something come up. She wasn't feeling too well, and so she's going to have to reschedule. But it's like coming towards the end of like school time or summertime for us, and when she's off of work, and so I don't know when we're gonna find time. But I was pretty bummed yesterday morning, but I obviously understood, right, that she wasn't feeling well and she couldn't come. But yeah, that would be my jeers for the week. But overall, I mean, a pretty good week. I'm wanting to pack in a lot. I don't want to get too crazy, but I want to take the kids to do some more stuff this week because this is the last full week before we start.
Well, we're going to see Claire tomorrow.
Yes, we are going to see dear Auntie Claire.
Dear old auntie. We're going out to see her. Speaking of our families being like each other's families, because I'm like, Courtney's coming, and we're bringing all 3 kids.
And I'm like, sorry, Claire, hope you don't mind.
Just, there's no choice. You don't get an option. No, I love that. I will say one thing, if we're doing holy matrimony, one piece of advice I would like to give the husbands out there. I woke up this morning, and I mean, it was more like, it was later, lunchtime, when I told Connor, like, hey, I'm hungry, let's order something. Mm-hmm. So we ordered something, and I was like, yeah, I'm really hungry, whatever. We get Culver's. I ate a double burger.
Aye.
No cheese. And Connor goes, wow, you really were hungry. And at first I thought he was talking to our son. And then I said, I'm sorry, are you talking to me? And he said, yeah, you never finish your food. And I was like, mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And to him, it's just an innocent comment.
Yeah, I was like,
but to you,
first of all, how dare you? He's like, no. I'm just saying, you just don't usually finish your food, so you were hungry. I'm like,
mm-hmm. As you have one eyebrow cocked at him, like, mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm like, so don't ever talk about my hunger.
Yes, don't talk about my eating habits
unless you're telling me how beautiful and cute I am.
I don't want to hear it.
Only compliments are.
Don't need those negative comments in my life.
Negative.
No negativity around here, you guys.
If you see a missing persons report for Connor Lamphere,
it's because he commented on one burger
I ate.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Well,
and last but not least, I did get this gorgeous, super cute,
so cute,
Spicy Mark Club Society Club. What does it say?
Social Club.
I'm stupid. That my mother-in-law made because she makes the cutest hats and they're custom, and she can do whatever. So her and my mom were both at a craft show this weekend. My mom sells cigar lamp boxes.
Yes.
But they were both at a craft show next to each other in Livingston. So Connor and I drove up there to kill 2 birds with one stone, see both the mother-in-laws. So we were there, and I was like, Jennifer, I need this hat.
It's so cute.
And so I was like picking it all out and we were just like playing and it was so fun. I got like my hat chain. I got my little bedazzly
because she had a hat bar. So you got to choose the patch and everything.
So she does those. She makes like the trucker hats too, which we wore at your birthday trip. So I just want to give her a shout out because
I was going to ask for her Instagram.
Yeah, so her Instagram is Billie Janes. It's BILLIE Jane J. Spelling's hard. Addie's better than me. JANES. And then her website is BILLIEJA. I got scared I spelled it wrong again. JANES.com. So if you Google Billie Jane's hats, we'll try to link in somewhere.
Yeah.
In our information.
They're so cute.
Yeah, they're so cute. And I think on her website you can like build your own hat too.
Oh, fun.
Yeah. So she can do like a bunch of different patches and she's got Etsy and all that stuff too. So her stuff's so cute. And I'm just happy.
No, I
just
need
feel
one now.
so cute. I feel so
it's
cute.
adorable. I love it.
So someday we will be forcing her to make cheers to that hat merch.
Yes.
I know. I'm like a cheers to that social club.
Oh my God.
I know.
And a little champagne glass.
I know.
With a disco ball, like something,
I know.
The possibilities are endless, you guys.
Are endless. But that is that, I believe. Thank you so much for listening to us. Remember to rate, review, and subscribe. Follow us on YouTube.
Yep. YouTube.
Follow us on YouTube. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on TikTok to stay abreast of all the news and all the TikTok trends
funny
we
little
try
clips.
to do. Yes. And we love you. And we'll see you later. And
bye.
Cheers to that. Mwah.
Cheers to that.
Bye.